Hey everyone, it's Lindsay and I'm here today with a video on distressed ink scenes. Now these are two very simple cards. I've already put together those truck dies. I will leave a link either in the top right hand corner or down below in the description box where you can find that video on assembling those dies that you've seen in that photo. So the first thing I want to do is create a frame and also my little panel that I'm going to create my scene on. So I've got the fancy frame dies from Craft and Desert Divas. I did a little bit of die cut inlay and I ran those through my die cut machine. Very simple. I did it with white cardstock. Now for my hill mask, I just cut this from scrap paper. I used my long blade scissors and I cut right down the middle. I need both the top and bottom portions of this mask and you'll see why in a moment. So I went ahead and placed that hill die or hill mask down, and I'm just going to use some Salty Ocean Distress ink and my mini ink blender to ink up this sky. Now I'm keeping it very simple. You could always do some clouds in the sky if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep mine nice and flat and blue here. Now putting the distress ink over my stitch lines on this rectangle is really going to bring them out. However, if you wanted to, you could always mask those off and keep them nice and white if you wanted to. So when I was happy with the intensity of my sky, I removed that mask and now I'm going to use the top portion of this and tape that over the sky so I don't get any ink on it. Now I also need to go ahead and mask off a road, so I'm just using painter's tape to mask off a rectangle on the right hand side of my panel. I'll be using black soot distress ink and my mini ink blending tool, and I'm just going to put quite a bit of this down to really fill in that rectangle, and this is going to make my road. Now you'll notice on my distress ink blending, I start out very light and I build up my color. If you start out too dark on regular cardstock, you'll end up with some really harsh lines and you won't be able to get rid of them as well as you would on watercolor paper. So I would just suggest starting really light and building up your color. So once I had my road done, I went ahead and just moved those pieces of painter's tape to cover up my road. And now I'm going to ink up the sides of the road with some mowed lawn distress ink, and this is going to be my grass. And again, I'm just going to build up that color on both sides, and now when I remove all of my masks, I will have a nice sky, a road, and grass on both sides, which will complete my entire scene. For my sentiment, I'm going to pull out the Simply Said sentiment set from Craft and Desert Divas. For this card, I will be using a happy birthday sentiment, but literally any sentiment on this set would work for this card. This is one of those cards that I would make quite a few of, fill up my stash, leave the sentiment off, then whenever I need a card, I can grab that Simply Said sentiment set, grab one of these cards and stamp whatever sentiment I need to right on there, and I've got a card ready to go no matter what the occasion is, no matter who it's for. This is one of those cards that's for any occasion and also pretty gender neutral. So I went ahead and placed that happy birthday sentiment in the top left hand corner of that panel, and I'm just going to stamp it down with some black dye ink using my Misty. I will give it a double stamp because I'm stamping over distress ink. I want it to be nice and bold against that blue. Now I'm going to do some inlay here, and on my frame I have put some fun foam and also double-sided adhesive on the back of that, so this is going to be popped up and nice and dimensional. Now on the actual distress inked panel, I've kept it flat and just put the adhesive right on the back of the panel. So I'll just peel off that backing paper and then I can insert it right inside that frame that I've created. Because I am attaching everything to an A2 side folding card base, I really wanted that frame to pop out against the card base, and that's why I went ahead and added a little dimension to it. If you ever have trouble inlaying a panel like this into the frame, I just went ahead and grabbed out my bone folder and I'll go ahead and press that right through the frame so I get it exactly in its place where it needs to be, and it doesn't give me any trouble then. Now I also created another scene. I just stamped Miss You on the top of this one, and I'm going to be using the same exact layout. The only thing I've done different is I masked off the stitch border. I'm going to go ahead and attach it to a 4-bar sized gray note card that I've created here. And then for both of my pieces, my truck and my mailbox, I'm going to attach these straight onto the panel. I'm not going to add any dimension whatsoever. I'm using multimedia matte on this, so I'll just go ahead and apply some of that to the back of the truck, and then I'll place it straight down onto the distressed ink scene that I've created here. Now I'll just throw an acrylic block over that so it holds everything in place, but this is a nice flat small card that's going to be really easy to go through the mail. So this is just another variation of the same exact card that I've created. And that finishes it off for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I will leave you with a few pictures of the finished cards. For more information on the supply list, you can head to my blog. That link is in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and happy crafting!